The Match Ball.
Hello. Welcome to the show. We're streaming live on YouTube exclusively for our TSB Plus members who can get early access to the Match Ball afterwards as well. You can watch the show in the free feed later on, a few hours later, and listen in your podcast app to get it all ad-free with TSB Plus. Match Ball is brought to you with Levi's Listers, who will give you the usual 10% discount on your legal fees on their full range of services, which include, Michael?
Commercial dispute resolutions. They do litigation. They do wills. They do probate. They do conveyancing, would you believe? And other services too.
Thank you so much. You can get full details and a full list of all the services, terms on the website, levislisters.co.uk/the square ball. It's Dan Moylan here with Michael Normanton and Dean Smith as we analyse a 1-1 draw at Villa Park. Don't know about you, but I feel like in the context of the day, it's 2 points dropped because it always feels like that when you concede a late goal. But in the context of the season, it's a good point picked up.
You'd also would probably feel more like that had you not gone for your nervous poo when Lucas Mecha was heading at the goalkeeper from a few yards out.
There's quite a lot of just sort of nervous sitting around in there as well. Just killing time.
I wrote it down, 64 minutes, Dan threatens nervous poo. 70 minutes, Dan goes for nervous poo.
Yeah, if that had gone in, it's a weird game because
I haven't seen it.
What, any of the game?
No, I didn't see Mecha's chance.
Yeah, because we had the better chances in the game.
Yeah.
Probably.
And when that chance happened for Mecha, me and you were saying that's the best chance of the half.
Yeah.
Regardless of how much they had some running and stuff. I want to stick up for Mecha a little bit, though. I think that's maybe tougher than the co-coms made it sound.
What actually happened?
Diving header.
We worked it quite nicely. It was stack out to Bogle. Crossed it, really, really good cross. One of those that kind of cuts out the defence, and Mecha was in at the back post, and it was a free header. It was a free diving header.
Was it diving?
Yeah.
Right, well, as long as you hit the target, then you've done your bit, haven't you?
And because Martinez was able to see it coming, he does well because he kind of closes the angle rather than he doesn't just run across his line, he runs out to him as well, so he kind of blocks it off. It's a good save.
Yeah, and whoever was on our co-coms, you thought it was Don Hutchinson, didn't you? He was like, you've got to head it back where it came from, like back across the other side. But I think he's stretching. I'm going to give him a pass there.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't see it, but yeah, fine. Yeah, it's frustrating, isn't it, to concede so late on. But there's an interesting discussion point around this on the comments, actually, on YouTube, that because I kind of want to get annoyed at Farke for it, for not making changes earlier, because every WhatsApp group that I'm in, and you two are in as well, they were all saying in there, make a change. And he waited until his 70th minute or thereabouts for the change. But people in the comments here are saying, essentially, we don't quite have the quality off the bench that other teams do, and maybe that's why we can't see games out. Is that fair analysis, or how much of it do you want to put on Farke? Because, like I say, it's let's not underestimate how good a point this actually is.
Yeah, and I think when he did make the change, I didn't mind what he went for either. I think you could say that maybe Longstaff could have come on a bit sooner, because I think both Gruev and Stack both look pretty tired. Last 20 minutes, Stack's not played for ages either, has he? So it was likely that he was going to be a little bit rusty. Plus, he kicked that so hard in the first half, that must have really tired him out. So he did well there. But yeah, maybe you bring Longstaff on, but you think it's not a game for Tanaka, is it? And if you bring defenders on, that just feels like it would have invited even more pressure. So you are into really...
So what do you do?
Do you do Longstaff a bit sooner? Do you do Mecha a bit sooner?
Or
maybe
there was an argument I thought popped into my brain maybe about 65 minutes is do we go to 4-3-3, so try and pin their fullbacks right back with two wingers, change your shape? I don't know.
No, I mean, ultimately it boils down to the fact we don't have these jobs, the jobs of being a manager. It's Farke's job. He knows far more about football than I do, and I want to say in his defence, he likes to keep his subs late so he can break the game up as well. So I suppose it's just about finding that perfect moment, isn't it? But you're sort of splitting hairs on what is a really good point to a team that was not far off the title race.
Well, given Arsenal, they're trying their best to throw it away.
Yeah, they're a very outside chance, and I think for large stretches of that, we match them, and we can be really, really proud. And Farke can have a very good job ascribed to him there. But that first half, it looked like two very, very equal teams, and that's absolutely to his credit.
Across the two games against Villa, we've looked about the same as them, I would say. Certainly not a million miles off, given where they are now and have been for the past couple of years. And we've been knocking around in the Championship. So we've come up and matched them across the 2 games. I think I'm pretty pleased with it.
Yeah, it's just losing that point, isn't it? You want to find reasons why the 2 points. Sorry, why we should have held on, but I think they've got a very strong bench as well, haven't they?
Yeah, I think the thing for me that's most annoying is just how scruffy their goal was. Do you know what I mean? Like, regardless of a lot of pressure that they had, it never quite felt like there was a chance as big as Metch's even. No. And so when it comes off somebody's thigh and loops over Calvert-Lewin's head, it feels even more annoying.
Especially when we've scored such a good goal, and what a goal, by the way. Let's bask in that one and bathe in that one, because that was an incredible strike. And we were chatting about it, and I noticed if you watch the replays of it, and if you watch the replays of it later on, it doesn't even give the eyes to the corner. It doesn't even look where he's going to put it, Stack, in the run-up to that. There's a good angle of it from the front when he's running towards the camera, and you can see he does what any good footballer should do, which is to keep his eyes on the ball, and he didn't even look at where he was going to put it. He just put it there. Wow.
Yeah, 33 yards out. We decided, did we? How did you get that information, Dan?
It popped up at half time.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, on the visual radio.
Because I was like, it's at least 50.
Yeah,
it's 100 yards.
Yeah. The XG for it, I wrote down as well, was 0.04. So that goes in. They're saying 4% of the time.
We reckon we would score it less.
Yeah.
If we had to,
Speak for yourself.
It's a long way out, isn't it? Yeah. Very long way out. It's one of the best free kicks I think I've ever seen Leeds score.
I'm struggling to think of one better.
Like there was Dorigo and Sterling hit a couple of from range. Ian Hart's tended to be a bit closer in, didn't they?
Yeah.
Certainly distance-wise, it's right up there.
Yeah. Getting it up and over the wall, there is a sweet spot for that. But he was a long way out. But I suppose Martinez wasn't expecting it. He even did the 2 arms up thing that suggests I'm going to do whatever that means. They would have studied our tactical plans probably. Is that far post? I don't know.
The thing is, with Martinez, he's a very, very good keeper. And from that distance out, with no wall whatsoever, he would probably back himself to save it, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Because you've got, in theory, a lot of time to see it. And if he hits it any softer, he probably does get a hand to it and just tip it over. But he manages to get such good contact on it, as he did at Wolves, just absolutely twatting it.
Yeah.
And as well, us all sat around in here, we just weren't expecting a shot to happen at all. So by the time it hit the back of the net, we were all gathered around the telly at the front there going, fucking hell, what a goal.
It was a great goal. And it is worth adding. I mean, again, maybe it's the disappointment of conceding late on, and like you say, Dean, it was a little bit of a sloppy goal to concede. But then you rewind to just before half-time in an injury time, the little scoop off the floor that Darlow did, in what I think was a pretty good performance for him all round. I struggle to think of any issue you could pick up with him. It was a good goalkeeping performance. To have the presence of mind to scoop that ball off the floor when it was just there for the tap-in is a great piece of goalkeeping.
And he did, it was when Villa had it in the net, but it was offside. He did get a finger on that Buendia shot as well, didn't he? Because they had a lot of shots from range, and mainly they were absolutely shit. But that one would have gone in, and it was a very good save. I will say as well, in that, the save he made at the end of the first half, he only had to make that save because we'd headed it behind for a corner when someone was very clearly offside, but the linesman and ref for some reason decided it was fine, that Justin only had to play at the ball because there was someone in offside position behind him. Then I think we should have had a free kick, and then that happened, and it was like, come on, give us a chance here.
Well, let's pivot straight into that then. Pivot and talk about the dickhead ref, Michael Oliver. I know we're always biased about refereeing performances, but that, to me, feels like one of the most Homer performances I've not ever seen, but I've seen in a long time. Like, he gave them absolutely everything, and he wasn't giving us what felt like the equivalent things. Again, I know I've got my white tinted spectacles on and all that, but what do you make of it?
I think you're absolutely right. I think we said halfway through the second half, I can't remember quite what time it was, but there was a foul on Bogle that he didn't give that went out for a throw in to Villa. That I don't want to see it as a foul, really, given, but he'd given 8 or 10 in the first half to Villa, and it's just that inconsistency. I think I much prefer it when a referee lets the game go a little bit, especially now we're trying to be big bastards United and get stuck in a bit more. But I can't remember a worse refereeing performance this season, I don't think.
No.
Against Leeds United.
I was going to say I don't think he got anything major wrong, but then I've just remembered in the first half there was the one where Martinez throws Ampadu on the floor from a corner and he gives a free kick against Ampadu.
Nobody even looked at it.
And it didn't seem to get looked at. But I know, like, you can say Ampadu's stood in the keeper's way, but on every single corner, a player stands in the keeper's way. And generally speaking, the keeper doesn't just chuck him on the floor. Yeah. Like, you can't really get away with that. And it didn't seem to get, well, the ref obviously viewed it completely the opposite way. And then it didn't seem to get looked at by VAR because they didn't stop the game for it, did they?
I think what's annoying is that, where he wrestles Ampadu to the floor there, I genuinely believe, hand on heart believe, that if that had been the 4:30 game between, let's say, I don't know, Arsenal and Spurs or Arsenal and Chelsea or someone like that, they'd be looking at that and they'd be making a big deal out of it. And the profile of the incident gets raised by the commentators as well. Because this was just nicely tucked away, 3:00, international feed only, it doesn't have the same prominence. You can't referee games like that with differences in standards like this.
There's not enough fuss made of it either, because VAR will look at things when players make a fuss. You had Ampadu, who's complaining, well, doubly complaining, because he's saying he's fouled me, but he's the only one doing it. If you actually benefit on this from all the team making a massive fucking fuss about it.
But you're not allowed to approach the ref anymore, right?
People do.
Oliver will be getting his cards out and doing what you want him to do, which is you're booked.
But that forces VAR to look at stuff when players all like collectively kind of charge after a ref. That big reaction makes VAR go, okay, we'll just have another look at this. And because it was a bit low key and it was just Ampadu by himself telling Oliver, he fouled me there.
Yeah.
Then it felt like it got overlooked.
Being asked what's my impression of Michael Oliver, I'm not doing that. I feel like a hate crime. I've got friends in Newcastle.
But the general vibe of it was that he just gave them loads and loads of soft shit. Like the booking for Biol on Buendia, he would probably have fouled him had he continued running. But Buendia's going down before the tackles even reached him.
If there was a foul, it wasn't Biol who did it. It was the guy before it was in the prior tackle, wasn't it?
And like there was one where, you mentioned on Bogle there, there was a ball over the top in the second half. Calvert-Lewin was chasing after, I think it was Konsa rather than Mings, but Konsa very clearly from the off wanted Calvert-Lewin to foul him, and he didn't, and he did really well. And then as soon as Calvert-Lewin got within distance of him, he just went down, and the ref was like, oh yeah, free kick for it's just such soft shit. It's Luke Ayling free kicks.
But as it's been mentioned in the comments, sorry, Michael, I was going to say it's been mentioned in the comments, it didn't really affect the outcome of the game, which I think is the one bonus to take away from what I think was a poor refereeing performance. But it felt like Oliver's one of those refs who is a lot more visible than you want a ref to be. He sort of inserts himself into the narrative. I just don't think you need to do it.
But then you say he didn't impact the game. He didn't impact the game because he had such a flimsy control over it. If he'd let the game go a little bit more, some of those tackles don't turn into free kicks. We have little breaks. You never know.
Yeah,
it's just it's that kind of refereeing performance where you think at like a Premier League level, something's a bit fucked. Like because if that's a free kick and that's not, you need to get things straight.
Yeah, it felt like the chance we had was probably slim anyway, going away to third in the league. But it just felt like it just reduces our chances of breaking things up, and we are now good at set pieces. So if you can't ever get the opportunity to have them, then obviously it robs you of things. And it very nearly did cost us the goal at the end of the first half when between him and the linesman, they managed to give them a corner and they nearly score off the back of it. Yeah. So it was one of the most frustrating refereeing performances I can remember for a while.
Yeah, same.
Interesting looking at the stats. The possession was 67% to them, 33 to us. We tend to actually do all right sometimes in games like that where we don't have a lot of the ball, do we? We're quite resilient. Again, to Farke's credit, XG is pretty equal, 1.39 to 1.35, 16 shots to them, 14 to us, but we had 2 big chances. So, yeah, all right. I'm quite happy to say a draw is probably on balance about right.
Yeah,
because it's frustrating to concede the goal, but they had laid siege to the goal.
Yeah,
and they had chances.
They hadn't had many chances though. They weren't.
Well, I said they weren't big, were they? Because the stats
they had a huge amount. I think the thing that was stressful about it was probably as a result of the 3-5-2 thing. We defend the box, but we don't really defend crosses into the box very much, which meant there was an awful lot of feeling like they were getting down the side, and you're just waiting for them to pull it back and for them to tap it in somewhere. But because it's so crowded in there, it just was really scrappy. And if you do it for long enough, you imagine at some point it will fall to them. But actually, it's quite hard to create a clear-cut chance like that, because when you get around the back and you look up and you can just see like 18 people stood in a big bundle, it's kind of hard to pick anyone out. So I think we defended pretty well for the most part.
Yeah,
even if it was far deeper and scrappier than I'd like, because it felt like as well, because we had so many players back, you reach a point where you're clearing it and you can defend it well, but all you're ever doing is just booting it back to them.
Yeah,
and they just
it's hard to kind of relieve the pressure, isn't it? But in the wider context of it, had you been offered that before the game, you'd take it all day long. Yeah. So again, you come out of it thinking great point. And in the context of the season, it's Man City next. Since we played Man City last time, we've only lost 2 games.
Yeah,
and that was one of which was at Newcastle, which we by right should have taken at least something out of.
Yeah,
and then obviously we got pummeled by Arsenal, but in among all that, we've visited Villa, Chelsea, Everton, Liverpool. Sunderland have got a great home record. Brentford have got a home record, and then that takes you back to Manchester City in terms of away games.
And it's still mad we've not won more away games, really.
Well, we've only lost one. In that stretch. Only one away game we've lost, which is a hell of a record. It's frustrating. Like, you can't really get excited by draws, can you? But in the context of the Premier League, we really should.
And Michael, you've been talking for a while on the show about this little kind of patch of games. And if you think back to the last 3 games, Forest, Chelsea, and Villa, we got 5 points. So really good return. Like you obviously want to beat Forest at home, but to go to Chelsea and Villa and get 2 draws. It's good. I hate the phrase free hit for next week because we're all in the same fucking division. Grow up, everyone. But there are levels to this thing, like we saw against Arsenal. But it just gives you that little bit of breathing room. And I think knowing what we've got to come the other side of Man City, you can look at the league table and feel encouraged.
Yeah, I didn't like being forced to look at the league table while we were watching the game because they had it up the side and
on the visual,
and you could kind of see us like, oh, we're really close to like Sunderland all of a sudden, and you can start looking the other way on it, can't you? But I mean, the point will obviously feel better or worse depending on the other results, won't it? Is the other thing because if West Ham and Forest go and win, then you start beating yourself up a bit about like, oh God, it was a big chance that and we could have. But anyway,
and the point is framed because of how the game went. Like if we'd have scored the 88th minute equaliser, then we're sat here buzzing our tits off. But as it is, especially with a scruffy goal, I hate that goal.
Sure. Yeah. Look at ours.
Yeah.
Thing of beauty.
That should count for 1.5.
You should get bonus points for something like that.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying.
Should have won it on points.
The system is unfair. All this leaves us in 15th still, then on 31 points. That's the important takeaway from all this. So we are still comfortably above that 1 point per game metric that they're aiming for. As we said, it'll probably be there or thereabouts that keeps you up, maybe a fraction more, but that will depend on what happens in the game that's kicking off in a few minutes. Now, when this comes out, on the free feed, everyone will know what will have happened. But I suppose we're almost doing a bit of a semi-live watch along. Probably for the best that the watch along. We didn't do a watch along today.
Some things were said about Michael Oliver.
Yep.
That wouldn't necessarily stand up to a legal test.
Nope.
But
would he want to test them in a court? That's what I'm saying.
I think
he probably would.
He probably would. He'd probably win.
I think he fucking definitely would.
He'd win at a canter.
Yeah. I was just frustrated at points. My lord.
So that one kicks off in the next couple of minutes. West Ham against Bournemouth. So again, if they come out of this not winning, a draw there, whatever it might be, fine by me.
Yeah. It was. If we get to the end of this run again, I mean, I was honestly thinking by the time we play Man City, we might be in the bottom 3 at one point because it was such a tough patch of games. And a point means we absolutely can't be even if West Ham win theirs and we lose against Man City, we still remain nicely clear of them, don't we? So well, not nicely clear. It'll be tighter than I care to think about, but we'll still be clear of them and with a very very favourable end to the season.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. A win there would have really done us the world of good, wouldn't it? I'd sort of talked myself in the run-up to this game, into the fact that on the basis of nothing more, that it's ages since we won away. We're due one.
We are really due one.
I talked myself into it. And then and it's really funny to kind of reflect on our emotional state during that game. Because we were all 3 of us were quite relaxed at the start of the game. And then as soon as we went in front and the clock kept ticking on, you could feel the jeopardy sort of rising as the prize became closer and it was in touching distance, which I suppose explains, obviously, I mean, everybody knows, everyone can relate to it, that feeling of the air being let out of the balloon at the end. But it is a really good point. Like we've got our 2 away games, Chelsea and Villa, and we've come out of them both with a point from each one. Like if you don't look, like when we did look at this at the start of the season, that'll do, mate. Thank you very much if you've beaten Forest before that.
And I said a couple of times whilst we were 1-0 up, like, if this doesn't go the way we want it to, i.e. we draw or lose, it doesn't define our season. And it could have defined our season, as you guys rightly said, if we'd won it, because all of a sudden you've got 3 points where you weren't looking for 3 points necessarily. Yeah. But no, it doesn't. And I think, next weekend as well, get the other side of that. And if we're still well clear, I think you can start to look up the table.
Yeah. Yeah. What else do we take out today? There's plenty to like about it, I think.
Well, we were talking about the subs. We didn't actually discuss the fact that he did make a sub early.
Right.
He took Goodmanson off at half time, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. Of course, yeah.
Which I think we've all forgotten about.
But do you think that was tactical, or was there an injury or something?
I was having a bit of a stinker.
A little bit, a couple of stray passes, but
well, the comments are now starting to come in from the press conference. They'll drip through as and when the Twitter app allows me to read them. But yeah, proud of my Warriors is what Farker has said. You can't complain too much with the point here today. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think it was probably about fair enough, wasn't it? We're probably happier with the point than they are. Put it that way.
Yeah, very much so.
Because they will have looked at their result fixtures to come and gone, Leeds at home, that could be 3. Like not that we're an easy team to play anymore, but still, if your aim is title push, definitely Champions League, then you definitely have to beat Leeds at home. So
I'm just returning to the Goodmanson thing. Yeah, he wasn't having a great game, was he? He's like there was that thing early doors where Struijk passed him the ball from the left-hand side of our area out to the wing, and then I think he got caught a little bit square, like he didn't have time to open his body out and nip the ball inside, and got in his own head, tried to pass it back towards Struijk and put it out into touch for a corner. Thinking, come on, lads, we really don't need to be gifting the opposition stuff like that. So it would be interesting to see if that was tactical or if he had perhaps just had a knock or wasn't quite right.
I think there was part of it as well. We said, didn't we, Michael, that they're quite a big team. So I think if Farker's expecting a lot of balls into the box, then getting be all on is not a bad shout.
Yeah, which if he's done that as a preempting what's going to happen second half, that is him being proactive with things.
Yeah.
So maybe we need to change our opinion on that. Because we know in the past we've been frustrated at him not doing anything, but he did do a thing at half time. So
yeah.
Whether or not you like it or not, don't know. But it was definitely a thing.
Well, it's just a proxy for being annoyed at the outcome, isn't it? It's trying to find a reason, somewhere to direct your annoyance. And I'm not annoyed at Farker. Like I say, plenty of times before I've wished he'd make a change, but it's a delicate balance, and it's thankfully it's his job and not mine.
I just realised I'm just looking at my notes to see if we missed anything. I've just remembered Calvert-Lewin's chance first half as well, where he kind of got ran in between 2 defenders, and Martinez again came out.
His first touch was just such a tiny, marginally bit too heavy that just carried it close enough to Martinez for him to get to it. It was unlucky that.
I put great save, big chance. Michael celebrated because you thought it was in. He was up.
I never. All right, maybe I did a bit.
Yeah, and isn't it nice having the luxury of it's not a luxury, but thinking that they've got the depth right in terms of being able to put Justin on at left back if it is tactical and Goodmanson's not quite having a great time of it and is taking him off to go, actually, we can put Justin there, just give Gabby a rest. And
he's become so important, Justin.
Yeah.
To keep Beal out of the starting lineup is no mean feat, but then also just to be able to tweak his position, or not even tweak, like fucking massively move him into another position that he's really comfortable with. He's become, very, very important.
Right, they're underway in the Olympic Stadium.
Oh.
Exciting, isn't it?
It is.
I'm just looking at the ratings, actually. Grove and Brendy both got 5.9s. Goodmanson 6.8. So according to the stats, he wasn't doing terribly at half-time, but the eye test was that he wasn't particularly good. Yeah. Grove nearly scored as well, didn't he?
Yes. Yeah. Should have done, really.
That
was just after we'd already scored, wasn't it?
It was,
in the same corner.
Got pulled back to him, and he looked disappointed with it.
If Grove scores, are we on the pitch?
It's a long way to Birmingham.
It's true. We'd be there about now.
Let's jump in the car.
Yeah. So Farker said Gabby's been ill, no injury.
Right.
Which explains. So maybe he just was a little bit under par.
Bit peaky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looking at all of Villa's attack shit ratings. Buendia, Rodgers, Bailey, Watkins. None of them played well, which kind of fits.
It's to our credit.
Buendia and Watkins both love launching themselves at the floor, don't they? I'll never forgive
Watkins
for diving 6 years ago, whatever it was. He'll always be a cheat in my eyes.
I think their ratings are about right because we defended so well, and I think that's part of my annoyance. A lot of my annoyance is at Michael Oliver, but part of my annoyance is just how scrappy that goal was. It's one of them again where if you're going to concede, you kind of want it to be something that shows like a lot of Premier League quality or something. You go, that's what we're up against.
Yeah,
but your man just thighed it in. Stop it.
It's annoying, isn't it? Yeah.
And if it just comes up, even if it comes to his thigh at a slightly different angle, Calvert-Lewin heads it out, doesn't it?
Or it goes over, or it goes wide. Yeah. It's just one of them.
Such is the nature of football, eh? West Ham straight out of the blocks nearly scored in the first minute by the looks of it, according to the commentary on FotMob. Don't do that, lads, please.
Who they play? Bournemouth, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bournemouth.
There's loads of teams below us. We're not just looking at West Ham.
Our close friends, Bournemouth.
Forest played tomorrow, don't they?
Liverpool, they've got
played in Europe.
They've got tomorrow, yeah.
They were getting quite excited having beaten Fenerbahce, saying it was a great start and everything, which, I suppose it is. But it's a little bit of a difference, isn't it, playing they've been all right in Europe generally this year, haven't they? They've been winning games, then coming back and stinking the place out a bit. So let's hope that can continue. I've just noticed on the comments there as well, when Groove booted Rodgers, that was a good yellow.
Yes, yeah.
Solid yellow. That
it annoyed Rodgers, that, didn't it? I think he was spoiling for a fight.
Yeah, which I was saying, let him do it.
Yeah,
Metcha stood in his way. I was like, no, let him get himself sent off here. If he's annoyed, let him get booked too. But yeah, it was one of those where you go, yep, well taken.
Mm-hmm. I think we looked after Rodgers quite well today. At no point did he ever feel like he had a load of space.
No, he didn't.
Probably learned after what happened at Ellen Road.
Yeah,
it's important to deny him space, I would say.
Yeah. Well, none of their players did. They improved when they came on, when they made the changes, didn't they? Because I thought both Barkley and Sancho were both quite involved, and Abraham obviously scores, doesn't he? Even though I didn't particularly notice him other than that.
Sancho did quite well playing against Justin, and then they switched him to against Bogle, and Bogle did all right against him, I felt. But he's a scummer, isn't he? So whatever.
Yeah, they had more impact than the players that started the game from anywhere.
And it goes to show, doesn't it? It goes back to the point we were making about the strength of the relative benches, that you can put somebody on who's gone for transfers of the value that Sancho, the scum bastard, has done in the past.
Yeah, and Abraham and Barkley both very, very experienced sort of Premier League top level players, aren't they? So
yeah.
Although Barkley, of course, not able to displace Michael Brown from the Leeds team. So what does that say about him? Yeah. 13 years ago.
I was going to say 13 years ago.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Unbelievable. Yeah. How old's Barkley then?
He must be about 50 now.
I think he was only 18 or so. But he was a teenager when we had him. But yes, just over 32. So yeah, he was young when we had him. But even so, he should have very definitely been able to get into that absolutely honking team that we were putting together under Neil Warnock.
Awful.
But never mind.
So a few more of the comments have just popped through. Farka saying that we've also scored several late goals as well as conceding. The overall feeling, this is Beren who's tweeting this, by the way, overall feeling is disappointment after conceding late. The goal was avoidable in the second phase of the corner. You feel in the first moment disappointed, but my Warriors deserve all the praise today. Valuable deserved point. Yeah, exactly. Fair enough. Could have scored a second. All the stuff we've been saying. And Farka wasn't expecting Stack to shoot from where he took the free kick from. And Bogle said it took a few seconds for us to realise it had gone in. As he saw it, actually, they were giggling like naughty little schoolboys, weren't they, in the celebration there at the end? Yeah,
it's nice when you see footballers still surprised at things other footballers have done. It doesn't happen very well, because obviously you get to a certain level and you expect people to do excellent stuff all the time. Whereas that was still one of those where everyone went, fucking hell!
When was the last time you can remember that from a Leeds perspective? Because there's a really clear one that's in my brain. Patrick Bamford takes it on the chest.
Oh, God, yeah.
And then bang, in the FA Cup, left-footed.
I think Groove in the playoffs was a bit like that as well, actually. Yeah. When he scored that one, because no one saw that coming.
Yeah. On the basis of the opening sort of 6 minutes so far in the West Ham game, it's going to be about 6-0 to West Ham. They've had four shots, one big chance.
They're punching themselves out.
Yeah. Gone too early.
The thing is, West Ham are a bit like us. They take the leading games, and it's the factor of being down there. I mean, you're not that good if you're down there in the first place, or you're not as good as other teams. And you get in the lead, you do inevitably change how you play, because you start thinking, well, I want this. I want to just keep hold of this now. But it's not that straightforward. It does weird psychological things to you being in the lead, that you all of a sudden stop playing, and you, rather than take a risky pass, you end up just leathering it clear and just giving the ball back, and it's
natural to kind of drop deeper and try to absorb pressure. Yeah, which is the situation that we face today. And all it is just any frustration is about us externalising our anxiety, having to watch us defend.
Yeah, but
not that we're bad at it, but
no, we did well today.
Yeah.
But
it's just a lot
for me. I'm completely converted now. I want Forest to go down. I want West Ham to reel them in. I can't get on board with that. You can have 4 permanent managers in a season, and that can work out okay for you. So I want them to sink like a stone.
I'll say that's what they deserve, isn't it? Based on the amount of chaos and just going nuts in the transfer market and not behaving themselves like we do.
I'd also rather that happened, but the danger of that is that it requires West Ham to have quite a good run as well, which I know will be a bit nerve-wracking.
Yeah, they're only 3 points away from Forest. Don't have to be that good a run.
True enough. Right.
They've managed to get an XG of over 1 within the first 7 minutes of West Ham.
We'll keep an eye on that game. I
don't think I'm gonna.
No.
Slam the laptop.
I might just not watch that. I might just check it at full time.
Yeah. We will wrap up the match ball there. Thank you very much for joining us on the live stream, members. We do appreciate it. And if you check out the audio version in the members feed, there is some extra time here coming at the end of the show. where you'll get a little bit of bonus chat, a little bit of a debrief, all that kind of stuff. Look out for a new members show across the weekend as well. That'll be out on Sunday. More chat from Phil Hay on the Phil Hay years, which comes out every single week as well. Just a little bit of misty-eyed nostalgia with everyone's favourite Scotsman. And if you want to become a member and get all that stuff, thesquareball.net/plus. We're going to chat to, who are we talking to on Monday? Tony DeRigo.
Yes.
Former Villa player, Tony DeRigo.
Yeah. We're going to have Phil in to record the next batch from soon. We should talk to him about Ross Barkley.
Yeah.
We should make a note to have that as one of the things, because it was old Warnock hiding behind him, wasn't it? As he shuffled down the tunnel. So, yeah, well, let's see if Phil remembers of that.
Yeah, that's the end of the match ball. Cheers for joining us on this one. We'll catch up with you in a bit.
The Match Ball.